Okay, so welcome to our next luminary liaison with Lena Simovic. And Lena is our energy guru. And I really love the topic that she picked for today in terms of really understanding the microcosm being the same as the macrocosm, what's it within, without, those of us, so many of us are, when you look around your life and you're unhappy with what's in your world, as a victim mentality society, we tend to think, well, somebody else did that to me. But usually it's something that's going on the inside. I don't know exactly what Lena's going to be talking about, but I kind of got a hint that a lot of that may be, what's going on in our brain, what's going on in our insides, what are we afraid of, what are we loving? And we are creating that reality. I use that quote from the Buddha about, our thoughts create our reality. And I have really found that that's true. And to be honest, I've been struggling with a lot of shit, not happy with what's going on in the real world. And it all starts inside. And I can't wait to hear what Lena has to share with us. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to her so she can impart her wisdom on us in this.
Hi, thank you. Hi, Crystal. Hi, everyone. So today we're going to build upon our last session where we talked about energy and how energy flows through everything, and it can neither be created nor or extinguished. It just is. It just transmutes forms, and so everything comes from energy. Everything we create, from thought to word to deed. So we're just going to expound on that. We're going to build on that, and let me start here by sharing my screen, and you tell me. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see that? All good? Okay, and I believe, just tell me real quick.
Down in the lower right corner, you'll see the little, what looks like a screen icon, just a little bit more to your left, to this, yep, that little guy.
Got it. Thanks so much. And then I can get rid of this bar, this toolbar.
Yes, there is. At the far right, there's like a more you can click on, and there's an option for hide floating controls.
Got
and
it.
You can also hide our pictures, the gallery, if you want to as well.
Okay, that's fine. I'll keep that. Okay, so here we go. As above, so below, as within, so without. How the microcosm equals the macrocosm and vice versa. It's like you were saying, Crystal, sometimes it can be hard to accept, to think that, what's going on in our world is due to us, but all the choices we've made in our lives have led us to where we are now. And of course, everybody has an impact on that. That's in our environment. But there you go. What is our environment? What is your environment? And so I want to start by how do I move the
Let's see, the
screen?
last time you
Oh, it
clicked,
was on the left, correct?
there were some little icons in the lower part.
Where is it? There it is. Got it.
There.
Thanks. Okay, just needed a reminder. Okay. So this is Hermes Trismegistus. He is an individual from circa, I believe, like the 1st century AD. And he was Greek, but he was also revered, not just by the Greeks, but also by the Egyptians. And he, if you've heard of Hermetics, Hermetics are a philosophy. There are certain laws associated with Hermeticism, and he was also a father of alchemy. So he worked with metals, that old saying, well-known saying of turning lead into gold. Well, we can say the same in regards to our energy, our being, our vibration, how we're living our lives energetically. It's transmuting and transforming our energy into one of a higher vibration, just like that from lead to gold. So I'm only going to touch upon a few. There were several principles associated that are associated with him in Hermeticism, which will help us in understanding this. So, but there are, of course, other philosophies and that we can look at as well. This is just one view. So alchemy, turning lead into gold, or transmuting energy and transforming our own state of being by elevating and shifting it. So his work influenced, as I mentioned, the Greeks and Egyptian cultures, and they adopted him as a god of wisdom. He was called in Greece Hermes. In Egypt, they called him Thoth. He was known as a great master of the universe with the work that he was doing. And these principles that are associated with him, there are 7, and it's the foundation of Hermeticism. It's a branch of spiritual philosophy, but we're not going to get into, we all have different beliefs, and this isn't about, challenging those beliefs. It's just something to look at, and something that does speak to the manipulation of energy, and how by doing that, we can transform our lives for the better. So as I posted there, he's known to have written the Emerald Tablet. If you can look into that on your own, and also the Corpus Hermeticum. Those are very well-known ancient teachings. So the 7 Hermetic principles are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. So in the last, our launch video, we talked about mentalism, that the all is mind, the universe is mental, that everything that is created comes from a thought. So I'm just going to touch upon that real quick, but then we're going to move on to correspondence, which is what I used in my title, as above, so below, and as below, so above. But then I added as within, so without, and as without, so within. And we'll also touch upon vibration, but that I had touched upon in the last video as well, that nothing rests, everything moves, vibrates, everything has a frequency. And then polarity, everything in this world is dual. Everything has negative, positive. These are poles, or everything has opposites. And then there's a rhythm to life. Everything flows in or out, up and down, and rhythm compensates. And then there's the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. And finally, gender. All things have a masculine and feminine component. So, but we will stick to the top 3, specifically correspondence, but we'll start here with mentalism. The principle of mentalism states that the universe is akin to a mental projection. I'm sure that a lot of you know that science has some theories that all this is a projection, that it's an illusion. And so thought is the source of creation. And this is how we start to manifest when we understand this. We use our thoughts to shape our reality. For anything to be, a thought must first precede it. Consider the initial thought that led you to be able to be here and to read this, or even the thought that is most influencing your mood right now. When we recognize how much our thoughts manifest every day, whether internally as a psychological or emotional state, or externally as the things we do or places we go, we see that when we can control our mind, we control our lives. We can get better at this through practices such as meditation, affirmations, visualizations, NLP. I believe Crystal is familiar with NLP. And all these things help us to train the mind. Moving on to the principle of correspondence. We've all heard this quote before: as above, so below, as below, so above, and then a similar, as within, so without, and as without, so within. But, many people didn't know that Hermes was the first who coined it. It's closely related to the first principle of mentalism, and states that when we hold what we hold in our thoughts and mind will become our reality. It explains the many planes of existence, excuse me, including those of lower and higher vibrational frequencies, and how they're connected. Applying this law is all about understanding our connection to the world around us and how we're showing up for ourselves and for the universe through our thoughts and subsequently our actions. When we have a firm grasp on how we're interacting with life and how it's affecting us, we can recognize and break, excuse me, and break patterns, live in alignment with our highest good, and feel harmonious with everything there is. Doesn't that sound amazing? Oh, but to put it into practice, that's another thing, right? So moving on to the principle of vibration. As I mentioned, this was something we touched upon in the last session. So just a little humor here, vibes have been around a long time. The principle of vibration states that all things, both physical matter and spiritual energy, hold a certain vibration. Basic science tells us atoms are in constant motion, as in the universe itself. Even our hearts, as they beat, give off different vibrations depending on our emotional state. And when we're vibing high, we're able to avoid low-level frequencies that don't serve us. To apply this third principle, you want to not only do things, but think thoughts that allow you to be in a state of ease where your body is vibrating at a more positive level. With this principle, we acknowledge that we have the power to control our vibration rather than our vibration controlling us and giving away our power to others or to the situation. So here's just a little image that shows that our energies vibrate. We also touched upon this in our first video, that our energy centers, our chakras, actually express themselves on layers outside of our body, not just within our body, but also through layers expanding out into our aura and beyond. So our energetic field goes beyond, it goes, the strongest energy field is within 3 to 6 feet, but it does go beyond that. It can be measured, and we talked about this. There are instruments that can read this, but there hasn't been an instrument that's been created yet that can really properly read it exactly, just how far it does go out. But this shows that our fields are more than, we're not just matter, we're not just physical, that we vibrate and that goes out. We have our etheric field, we have the, that's the causative field around our body, that thought is beyond us. The brain is just a receptor and transmitter. And, working with Dr. Joe Dispenza, this is something we really delve into as well in his work, that everything first starts in energy and then solidifies into matter. Even disease and illness. So here are some things that we can do. I believe in using our 5 senses, for we are physical beings in this world, in this 3D, third dimension. So we want to use all our 5 senses and our intuition as well. But let's use our senses, let's use our sight, our hearing, smelling, we'll get to that, but taste and touch, getting out into nature, going for hikes. Affirmations are a great way to use our thoughts in a positive way as well, that will help us to create habits. So this is something that we can do on a daily basis. I highly recommend journaling. It's something that we can do in the morning and before we go to bed, and even during the day, when we have some downtime. So create personal affirmations that resonate with you. There's a lot that can be researched, even on my YouTube channel. I have posted a lot of affirmations at the Lena Atomica on YouTube, but you create statements that resonate with you and positively affirm your abilities, attributes, and goals, and then repeat this daily, not just daily, but even several times a day. As I mentioned, when you wake up, before you go to bed, and during the day, if you feel drawn to that. Repeat your affirmations daily and incorporate action whenever possible. Take actions that reinforce the truth of your affirmations, making them more powerful. So say, I affirm that I am a beautifully unique individual and that I have a powerful mission on this planet. And you incorporate an action that will solidify that, or anything. I am active and healthy. I am vibrant. Whatever you can incorporate physically that will align with the affirmations. Visualizations are the next level. This is where you take your affirmations, you close your eyes, and you go into your inner, you're using your inner eye. So you will create a scene that you would like to manifest in your life. It can be anything. So it can be if someone has difficulty exercising, getting motivated to exercise, you see yourself getting up, motivating yourself on the screen of your mind, visualize this, whatever those components are, visualize it and be very clear about it. I also recommend before doing this, actually sitting down and writing these out. And then that also gives another level of bringing that into the 3D, into manifestation. But it also helps to serve as a reminder. So clearly define your goals and the person that you want to be and that you want to see yourself, being. And again, be regular with your practice. Dedicate time daily to visualize yourself achieving your goals, using as much detail as possible.
Lena, I've often heard that when it comes to writing these things out, to make sure that you're writing like in present tense, as if it's already happened, as opposed to writing in future tense or I wish or I want.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we want to bring this into the present tense as if it has already happened, because that's the energy that we need to be in. We need to be vibrating and actually it's interesting you brought that up because there's some more, you'll see in future slides here. But that is a very important component. Absolutely. We want to use the present tense when we're writing in our journal and also when we're visualizing. So, and get emotionally connected. This is the really important, it's all important, but this is one of the most important components, is that you want to feel that state. You want to be in that state of joy, of excitement, empowered, do whatever you need to do to get yourself into that state. Put on some music that lifts you up, that gets you going. Do whatever it takes. But while you're visualizing, feel these emotions, related and associated with your success and achievements. As I said, it's important. The more senses we use, the more this will make a difference, the more it will solidify into being. Here is an example of using smell. Scents that are associated with emotions, essential oils. This is a technique. So, we can go hiking where we're using our physical body and we're in nature and we're surrounded by beauty. So we're getting, we're filling our eyes, we're feeling, we're hearing the birds, we're using our hearing, we're smelling the nature. We can use essential oils for certain things as well. If we're not outdoors, if we're indoors, we can use certain like lemon that will energize us, or we can use lavender to relax if we're stressed out. There's so many things that we can do, again, using our different senses. This is just an image that I wanted to show that we are connected to everything. We are connected. We are on this earth and we are connected to the earth, but we are also connected to the cosmos above and beyond. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. So something that helps me is remembering, and I kind of want to start crying now just thinking about it, but I've been on my own path, as we all have. Mine has seemed to be a little more loner, of being a loner, and whatever that has to do with, not just my upbringing and childhood, but also I believe that it's my message. It's part of my message to share in this life, that we are really not alone. Even if it may seem that physically in this 3D world that we're alone, we're really, and not just to sound, cheesy or we really are connected to everything. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier about energetically, it's just we're not able to see it because we're limited by the vision that we have. And this is something I mentioned in, again, going back to that first video, that we only are able to see and sense a certain range on the spectrum of light and information. So there's so much we can't see, we don't know. But once we start tuning in and doing the work, we start to sense more of that being true. And but it does take faith, and it takes action, and that needs to become a habit to move along. So this is kind of where these are my intentions. This is something that I borrowed from my Neo-Shamanic Institute and the work I've done with them. We are all one heart, in our own way. We have the same mission, and one inner mission. So like that little infinity circle with the hearts, that's us. And we're all vibrating in this space together. And I do believe in intentions, creating intentions, controlling our thoughts in order to create intentions, because we can pick up on all kinds of different thoughts, but we want the ones that will serve us. What are the positive empowering thoughts that are going to serve us in our life, on our mission, whatever our mission is? Everybody has their own, maybe that term mission is might seem a little too intense for some people. Whatever it is, we can play with that word. We can, our intent in life, our day-to-day intent, our mission, our day-to-day mission, it doesn't have to sound serious. So whatever that is for you, it's important to elevate our emotions, which, so instead of just letting feelings, when feelings arise, it's important to notice them and acknowledge them, and ask, what is this feeling showing us? Why am I feeling this way? What is the emotion that that's being brought up? And is this a mirror for me, to hold up and to look at myself? And so from moment to moment in our daily life, moving through to our weekly, monthly, annually, these are things to acknowledge and be aware of, so that they're not controlling you. We want to have the wherewithal and the awareness of these things, so that we can mold and shape our lives to what we want it to be, right? So elevated emotions we want to connect with as much as we can. And if there are times where we're feeling low, or for whatever reason, whether it's the weather, whether it's something that's happened in our lives relationship wise, whether it's just something that happened, like the windstorms, like I told you, the awning fell off of my house, because of, and the door, and that's an issue. We all have things that happen, right? So it's about what's the next best feeling. If anybody here is familiar with Abraham Hicks, and I didn't add that to my resources, but I'll just mention it here. Abraham Hicks, there's a book, Ask and It Is Given. It's all about using emotions and feelings to help us move up, quote unquote, the energetic ladder. So if we're in a place of low energy, sadness, turmoil, anger, frustration, grief, whatever it is, what's the next feeling? What's the next step up that we can, connect to? We can't always go from feeling, a certain way to up here. Of course, that's that is difficult to do. But once we start practicing, we're able to do that with more ease. And the more frequently we do it, the easier and the easier it gets. And so I list some feelings here, emotions rather, that are ones that we can also use in when we express our gratitude. This is something else that we can do, journaling our gratitude, or that helps to, I was going to say, or we can speak the gratitude as a prayer, but we can do both as well. So when we get up in the morning, we can say what we're grateful for. When we go to bed, before we go to sleep, we want to say what we're grateful for, and we want to journal it. Again, journaling something helps to create it more in this three-dimensional, this third dimension that we're in. It helps to manifest, to bring that into more of a reality. So I'm grateful for wholeness. I have a love for life. I am blessed. I'm grateful. I have gratitude. I'm joyful. I feel and sense the oneness of all that is. I am nourished. I am unlimited, as we really all are. I'm playful. I am free. I have freedom in my life and my day-to-day, or on whatever level that is for you. If you don't feel like necessarily you feel like you have freedom, what is that? Why? What is it in your life that you may feel like you're not free? These are all also ways for us, again, hold up the mirror and what is this trying to teach me? I feel noble. What are the things, if you want more nobility in your life? Bring in more authenticity, honor, respect in your relationships, coherent energy, an energy that is more whole, like practicing, like having a coherent brain, doing things that connect our right brain to our left brain, where we're doing things that are, like our left brain logical things, reading poetry or doing puzzles, and then being creative and painting or drawing, or going out in nature. All these things create coherence. And being graceful, being kind and gentle, and having an awe for life. These are, I feel, important emotions and words that we can associate and bring in more into our day-to-day. Intentions, thoughts, integrating as one unified, loving family, deepening our connection with our immediate family and our extended family. These are things to help improve our relationships in our lives. And as we all know, or maybe don't know, or don't want to admit, even me, as growing up or feeling like a loner at times, really relationships are those things that help us grow in life, help us evolve, and help us even achieve our intentions in life and our mission, whatever it is. They're important. And falling more in love with life, knowing the divine lives within us and is all around us, whatever that divine is for you, whatever that, however that speaks to you. We are catalysts for change, each and every one of us. And one of the reasons that I am working with Crystal is because I believe in being of service and contributing, and for me, this is being of service and contributing to a mission. And we want to do this from a state of worthiness and trusting that we are nourished and nurtured in unlimited and unknown ways. I mean, there are ways that, again, we don't know. We don't know what we're doing with our deeds, with our actions, but they're making a difference. They're, creating ripples in the energetic, in the quantum field. Tuning into infinite potentials, expanding our practice, whatever that is, yoga, meditation, doing cleanses, having a garden, connecting with nature, our knowledge of whatever that work is that we're doing, and our footprints in consciousness that we're leaving, behind us and, in the present, and also working towards the future. And as I mentioned earlier, connecting to all that is by using our intuition, our third eye, the pineal gland. This is the radio receiver that we want to ideally decalcify and cleanse. As I was telling Crystal, I'm on a cleanse. I just started a cleanse. So in the next few sessions, you'll see me be more, I'll have more of a glow about me, and I'll have more energy and vibrancy about me. And so it's important, it's important to do all these things that will help clean our bodies and decalcify the pineal gland and cleanse our cells and reinvigorate and re-energize our body, our vessel, our temple, our body temple. And then by doing that, we'll strengthen our connection to source and all that is. And maybe some of us will have, more mystical experiences. Who knows? So here are the resources. As I mentioned, I forgot to put on here Abraham Hicks, Ask and It Is Given. That is an important book, as it helps move through levels. If we find ourselves, as I mentioned, in a lower vibration, it helps to give us some insight, where are we now? Where are we in particular time and place? And how can we move, and to a higher vibration? I know, Crystal, you've worked with NLP. I believe you mentioning neuro-linguistic programming. This is something that if anyone is looking into, it's a very valuable resource. It helps to program the mind in ways that help to quiet that monkey mind, that voice that is within all of us, that comes from programming, the negative programming, oh, we're not good enough. Oh, who are we to want to, make a difference? What, blah, 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 blah. That voice, neuro-linguistic programming helps with that, if anybody wants to look into that. And then Psychocybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, who is a doctor. He's an MD. He's a plastic surgeon. And this was something that he came up with. Also using affirmations, ways that we can speak to ourselves to help raise our own, again, quieting that monkey mind and raising our vibration. Another resource I highly recommend is the Monroe Institute. You can look that up. This was started by a man who actually he worked for the CIA and worked with the mind. And I'm not going to get into all that, but he created the Monroe Institute based on the work that he did with them, and to help evolve and get a grip on energy and really understand and evolve our thoughts in terms of creation and our power in doing so, and how we can create the world that we want to create for ourselves, and by influencing the energy in our world. And that starts with the mind and our beliefs and the actions that we take. And then, of course, Hermes Trismegistus. Again, those are a couple of the his writings, Corpus Hermeticum and the Emerald Tablet. That is something ancient but very powerful, both of them. The Kybalion by William Walker Atkinson, who speaks to the 7 principles, Hermetic principles. Of course, the Neo-Shamanic Institute that I'm a part of, and then my channel that I mentioned earlier for some affirmations, and doTERRA.com is one example of essential oils. There are many companies out there that you could look into. And so, yes, thank you, everyone.
This has been amazing, Lena. And I love that you shared the resources. I'm going to be honest, after your last talk, I did sign up for that daily, was it TUT message. I don't always go and look at them, but I was not aware of that resource, and it's been interesting seeing their offerings and that type of thing. So there's so many resources out there, and it can be such overload, which is another part of why I wanted to bring luminaries together with these different areas of expertise so that they can help us kind of filter out what's the right stuff to be looking at, and and start there, because it saves us all time.
Right.
How many rabbit holes can you go down? I've
So many.
already gone down a couple of them today, just watching one or well, two Gaia shows. It was like, oh, now I got to go check out this, and now I got to go check out that. And,
so I did, actually, I did want to add one more thing regarding the Monroe Institute. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, the work that he's doing takes from the Monroe Institute. I don't want to say take, but it aligns, it's very parallel to the work that the Monroe Institute does, where you're going into meditative states, and you're accessing the higher brain waves. And then when you're there, working with that energy to transform the being, the vessel. So I'm just a little more.
Right. No, and I mean, obviously there's still so much we don't understand about our energetic world. And, there are these resources, and for the most part, a lot of them are going to be, iterative. And so it's good to understand, though, too, where does the seed of the learning start, and how does it grow and branch, to understand it more.
Absolutely.
Because there's not going to be one person who is the source of all of this type of information. It's just too big, too vast, and we're still picking it apart.
But interestingly, so many people share, many of them, have the same roots, so to speak,
Right.
like, Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, all the, so many, Carolyn Miss. I mean, they're all taking, we,
Yeah.
we're all taking from the same, and we're just expounding, and we're sharing them in our own way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just going into each little part, because there's just so much, and it
And
really
different
does
things,
come down.
and different things resonate differently with different
Exactly.
people.
And at different times,
Mhm.
This journey, one door opens, we kind of go in, it helps us with our healing, we work on it, then, another door opens, but the next door isn't the same door for each person. So,
Right.
it really does, it is a journey, and it's an individual journey for each person, and finding the right resources for you. So, I love what you bring. I always get to geek out on the science with you. And I love to do that, but, and I love how you're just building on everything. So, for those who are watching the replay, feel free to put questions in the comments. Make sure you tag Lena, at Lena Simovic, and she'll get a notification to be able to come in and answer the questions. And would love to hear how this stuff is resonating for you, and how you're using it in, your own life, your own healing journey, your own, as I have kind of coined it, your journey of healing, happiness, and heightened consciousness, because all three go together, and all three are important in why we're here.
Absolutely.
It's not just about healing, it is about happiness. And at least for me personally, one of the things I've been dealing with, when you get into the healing, and you're focused on the healing, and you're focused on, all of the things you want to fix, you kind of lose track of the happiness. But you gotta find the happiness to continue the healing. And it's not easy.
But it can be done. Absolutely.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. And in this channel, this community, you're going to find sisters at all different levels of that healing and that journey. Some that are almost fully enlightened, and some that are still mired in the muck. And that's why we're here, though, to help each other and be a support and be a guide and be inspiration for each other.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Crystal, for inviting me. I am grateful to be here, and I look forward to the next one.
Same here. Thank you so much, Lena.
Thank you. See y'all next time.